Hi, my name's Susanna Waldrop, and I'm creating this presentation for our students that aren't able to come to our advisement and registration workshops that we're having this week. We're talking about spring advisement for 2013. If you have any questions at the end of this recording, I will give you my office email and phone number. But then it should last about 10 minutes, but the advisement and registration process are very important to you in the next semester coming forward to plan. And it is two separate processes, and that's what I'm going to talk about, the difference between advisement and what you have to do for that and registration and what you have to do for that process. Before we get too far in things, I do want to give a shout out for study abroad. Some of you may want to look into this for this upcoming summer. The International Studies Office has information about that. They are on the second floor of the CLC building, or they have a lot of information on their website. It's something to look at early because they are sometimes expensive, but there are a lot of scholarships that you could apply for. So if it's something that you want to do, I would encourage you to investigate all the possibilities and start applying for scholarships or saving up your money to go on a wonderful, wonderful program. Okay, but what we're really here to talk about is a registration and advisement process. We're going to talk about the roles of both the advisor and the student, a little bit about your goals, the process, some frequently asked questions, and then just review the checklist. You know, when we talk about advisement, there are two people involved, and that's the advisor and the student. Your advisor should be up to date on what your educational plan is. What they're advising you in, which subject, and what's in the catalog. They should be able to give you accurate information that's reflects any new changes that we may have had. And they're also going to keep a file on in your office with notes from what you discuss and any questions you ask. And then they may refer you to some services on campus. They can't be everything. They can't be a counselor. They can't know about health services, so they could refer you to any of these services on campus. Or maybe even the Academic Support Center here if you need a tutor for a class. The Academic Support Center is located in the Rampy building, which is beside the Magnolia House, and you can contact us if you need a tutor. Your advisor also needs to be available for you, and we'll look at those dates in just a minute. Some advisors start early, others wait until right after fall break to start doing advisement. But they should either email you to let you know how to make an appointment, or maybe they'll just put a sign-up sheet outside their door. But they should make time for meeting with all the students that they advise. So those are the things the advisors need to do. But what do you as a student need to do? Because that's the most important part of the process. Of course, it's your education, and so you need to make sure that you're the one in charge of it. And the first thing that means is knowing where you're going with things. Even if you're an undeclared student, you should have some goals, whether they're just short-term goals about exploring different majors or long-term goals about figuring out what you want to major in. You should have something that you can talk with your advisor about. You should be familiar with the requirements of your major and what's in our catalog. If you don't have a catalog, you should either consult it online, get one from the bookstore, or if you were never given one at registration, you could talk to them in the records office about that. You also need to have somewhat of a plan. You need to have looked over the materials and thought about what you want to take. You might not come up with the exact correct plan, and your advisor has to tweak it, but at least that shows you've put some time into things and thought about it, rather than just expecting your advisor to come up with a whole plan for you. That's not their job. Their job is to help you with your plan. Ask questions. This will be time for you to, everything you've thought of through the semester or can think of about your major, ask those questions now. And also let them know if there are problems. If they ask how things are going and you just say fine, well, they're going to assume they're fine. If you're really having a problem with math, let them know, and maybe they can show you how to get a tutor. Or if there's something else going on like roommate issues, maybe they can refer you to someone that can help you with those things. So let them know about that. Also, it's very important to be checking your university email. A lot of students don't ever check that university email, and they're missing out on emails from their advisor, financial aid, the records office. Very important information there. Also, you want to take responsibility for your education, and that means having goals and having a plan and looking forward to what needs to be done. If you're not looking out for yourself, don't you're going to lose out. So I want you to take that responsibility so that you can make it to graduation. It's really important for you to know the deadlines, and I'm going to show you some coming up, but I would take note of those. And when you have your advisement appointment, it's be on time and come prepared, and set a good impression with your advisor. Your advisor may be someone that you're going to depend on for a letter of reference, or it's going to be the teacher or instructor in your hardest class. One day, you never know what your advisor might be, and so it's very important for you to set a good impression, and I would do that with the way you dress. You don't have to wear a suit, but you come looking your best to that meeting. The days of advisement are October 22nd through the 2nd, and that's when all advisors should have time available. Some folks, like in nursing, undeclared science, will start early, and that's fine, but others may not start until after fall break. Okay, whoops. Now we're going to move into talking about the registration process. The advisement process is where you have to go and make an appointment with your advisor. Registration is where you sit alone, and the classes that you talked about with your advisor, you're actually going to sign up for them and get a time. Those dates, it starts on the 5th and goes through the 16th. Everything's by seniority and a couple of other things, and I'm going to show you how to find out where your date is so you know the date that you have in the computer. Of course, folks with more hours, seniors and that kind of thing, are going to be closer to the 5th, while freshmen are going to be closer to the 16th. Now, even if your advisement is on the 16th, still take advantage of that day, because it lets you register before transfer students, before direct connect students, and before new students to the university. And every year that you're here, you'll gain a little more seniority. So this is the academic screen. It's actually one of mine from last year, and or a couple of years ago, but the information's still very much the same. When you go to academics, this is the screen that you'll be brought up to, and of course, this is where you actually log in to sign up for your classes right here. But before that, we have to click on registration eligibility to see if you're eligible to register. Now, if you go and check this tonight, and I encourage you to do that, it will probably say you're ineligible to register. It won't say you're eligible to register, and it gives us the reason why right here, because you haven't been advised yet. And this is your advisor's name, so that information you should be able to find here. But sometimes it might not just say advised. It might say something about parking fees or a housing fee or something from the library. So even if you don't think you have any fees, it's good to check just to make sure that something didn't put accidentally on your account. You can easily get it fixed now, but you don't want to wait till that day that you're supposed to sign up for classes and then find out you're not eligible to register. So check that out. The other thing is finding out what your appointment time is. So if you click there, you'll find out what day, and you can see I pulled this off a couple of years ago, but you can see what the date is and the time. And that's when the computer will open up for you. So again, I can't stress enough about how important it is to take advantage of your priority, and whatever your day is close to that time. Like for instance, if I didn't make it on the computer right at 8 o'clock, I could put mine in November 9th at 8, 9, 10, whatever time after 8 o'clock will work. But of course, the closer to that day and time that you do, the more classes will be available for you. So other than, that's kind of the registration process in a nutshell. If you've gotten advised, once you go into the computer, you should be able to put everything in and find the schedule that you want. Sometimes about this time of year, we have some questions. Life and Hope Scholarship Guidelines. It's very important to know what your scholarship is and what you need to make. Talk with your advisor about that if you have questions. If you're thinking about dropping a course because you're not doing well in it, the last day to do that is October 25th. It will show up as a W on your transcript, but that doesn't carry an academic penalty with it. Students need to think about whether or not they need to keep full-time status. That doesn't mean just stay in a course if you're going to fail it, but you need to find out what will happen if you go below 12 hours. Again, you can talk to your advisor or someone in the Student Success Center about that. And even though it's early, in January and February, February is when you want to start thinking about applying for next year's financial aid. The early bird gets the worm. Apply early. That way, if there are problems or snags along the way, you can get them taken care of before the big rush. some other frequently asked questions: if I have financial aid, do I need to do anything special for the spring semester? Isn't it already taken care of? Yes, you do have to do something else. Every year, every semester, you have to apply your financial aid. If you decide to make schedule changes to different classes than what you talked to about your advisor, do you have to let them know? No, you don't necessarily have to call them and let them know, but if you make big changes, you may want to run it by them just so you don't do something to damage your academic progress. If you look when you're going to sign up for classes, just take note, what's the significance of the section numbers? Remember, you have a course number like SEGL 101 is English Composition 1, but then you're in something like Section 013 or 101. Those numbers all mean something. If it starts with a 0, it's a day class. If it starts with a 1, it's an evening class. If it starts with section like 400, like 401 or 400, it's at Greenville. 700s, those are at the George. So just pay attention to those when you're signing up for classes, because I've known students to get signed up for a class in Greenville or at the George when they didn't want to be. If we just review that checklist one last time, you know that when you go to log into VIP, you can check your appointment time and the name of your advisor and to see if you have any holds. You should do that as soon as possible. Now, appointment times will probably be up starting around October 22nd, so they might not be there until that time. So you can keep going back, but find out if you have any holds on there. Then you should consult with the catalog and look and see if you know what you're supposed to be taking for your course, for your major. Once you have an idea about that, go make an appointment with your advisor and talk to them about what classes you're going to take. If you don't know who your advisor is, you can call your academic department if it doesn't show up in VIP. After you meet with your advisor, you're going to log into VIP. After, at the exact same time as your appointment time, your registration appointment time, which is, remember, different from your advisement appointment time, and register yourself for classes. You need to pay your fees by January 9th or you'll get dropped from those classes, and then spring's classes start on January 14th. If you need help, you can come see us or call us in the Rampey Center. We'd be glad to talk you through any of this process. The main number is 503-5392. My name's Susanna Waldrop, and I'd be glad to talk to you one-on-one about this. And if you're having some issues with your academic record or just the whole registration process, you can always call the records office as well at 503-5220. And their location is in the HEC building in the kind of middle of the building across from the bookstore. I wish you very good luck with your signing up for classes, and again, my name's Susanna Waldrop if you need any help. Thanks. Bye.